Breaking news. Steve Burton to Days of Our Lives in 2026.
Pretty close, but not that far away, but pretty close.
Oh, dude, congratulations on the new job, dude. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You kind of knew what was happening, right? I couldn't talk about it, publicly, so to speak, but you kind of knew, but I appreciate it. And here's the best part. The best part of the day was, so they were going to release this statement today, which they did. I think it was through People magazine first.
I know, and that in itself is kind of cool. Like, I mean, does NBC and Days have like a relationship with People, or is People just because you've been kind of tabloid fodder for a year now? Does People just be like, give us all the Steve Burton news?
I don't know. I think it's always probably publicity department has a relationship with an outlet.
Oh, sure.
Right. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of, you have relationship in the business. So you go, yeah, I'll give it to you first. Or give it to you first. I don't know for sure.
Right.
But the exciting part was, so they sent me the release, right?
Yeah.
And they had asked me prior for a photo.
Oh, yes.
To send out, right?
I like where this is going.
Yeah. So let's just get to the good part first. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget that I got a job and all this other amazing things, but let's talk about your photo. Okay. So I have some keynote speaking or motivational speeches coming up in December, and I needed a headshot, right?
Yes, you did. Well,
Bradford's the go-to amongst our friends for the headshot because you're a really good photographer.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And so I sent that picture, right? And then they sent me the link today. I opened the link up, and it's a picture of me, I think, when I was on Y&R. 10 years ago. I don't even know.
I saw that. Yeah. Like, really?
Right. So she said, "Oh, I hope you're okay with the picture. The other one, they weren't sure if you had the rights to it or whatever." And that's when I texted you. I go, "Hey, can I have the rights to this and give you photo credit?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So then they replaced the photo.
Amazing.
So it was amazing. I was like, yes.
Well, I mean,
and I was more concerned about your photography business now than I was my getting a job. I was like, dude, why is this guy doing photography up in Sacramento everywhere? Like,
that's funny.
Dude, you're really good at it. It's like, you should be doing it.
I take photos of friends, and in truth, I try to take photos of myself, but man, if you can't see behind the camera, it's really hard to take photos of yourself.
Totally.
In fact, I don't know if I told you this, remember that great picture that they took of us at the Punchline?
Yes.
I reached out to that guy. He's coming to my house tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he's going to take some pictures. Yeah.
He was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So anyway, thank you. You gave me my break in national publications as a photographer. I never thought I'd have one of my photos featured in People.
Come on, man. That's amazing.
Our buddy Jeremy is pissed right now.
Yeah, totally. It's like, why couldn't have been one of my photos?
Right. Bradford gets photo credit on a photo and People before I do. That's not right. I've taken 20,000 pictures of you, maybe more over the time I've known you, and Bradford gets it, and it gets the byline. Anyway, congrats. Like, it's so funny, anybody that follows along with us has known, like, in the last, is maybe recognized in the last few weeks, that we've been pretty busy.
To say the least, sir.
To say the least. And partially our schedule was a little hectic because Steve had some new responsibilities.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'll just kind of give you the breakdown.
Rundown. How did it all go down?
Well, it was kind of a natural, I don't know. It was interesting because Beyond Salem 2, which I did, I had a great time doing that. Right.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. And it did really well for Peacock.
Yeah.
So that's when Peacock decided to take Days from network to streaming.
Sure.
As far as I know, that's the story.
It's a good story. It makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense, right? And I think they were planning on doing a Beyond Salem 3.
Okay.
They kind of had one on the back burner just in case that this one did really well. But I don't think anyone ever expected Peacock to go, hey, we're going to bring Days to to Peacock, right?
Right. But and Beyond Salem 2 didn't like, was it a satisfying arc to most stories? Like,
yeah, I mean, they brought back Bo and Hope. So there was a lot of reason they got a lot of eyes, but
right. But in terms of
it's open-ended.
It is open-ended. So
there was some resolution, but not fully.
Okay. That's what I mean. There was how many episodes? 8, 10? How many?
I think there was 12.
12. Okay.
I did 12 episodes, I think. Yeah.
But did your arc wrap up in a satisfying way? Like at the end of those episodes, were people like, "Oh, that was nice. It was nice to see Harris, and that was nice."
No, not at all.
Didn't wrap up. Right.
It was left open-ended for me on what was happening. So I don't know what their intention was, if it was to come to me at some point to be on Days or not Days after that or not. So
sure. Or to do a standalone Beyond Salem 3. Right.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
So but once Days went over to Peacock, then they kind of started talking about it. Hey, would you be interested in coming back?
Sure.
And and I said, oh yeah, I would, sure. I had a great time. People were great. I have friends there. Brando's there.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of the guys there and the girls and the cat. I know a lot of the crew people.
Totally. Directors.
Dude, everybody. Like, it's such a small family, the daytime world, right? It's like you would walk in and know half the people too.
Totally. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so fun. So, and they have a great schedule over there. They got dark weeks also. And it just really lines up to what's going on in my life with my other businesses, with what we're doing.
Totally.
So I was excited, man, to get an offer and to be put under contract is awesome.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What is that like?
You're so dumb. Well, you know what, contracts don't mean anything anyway.
I know.
They can get rid of you anytime they want, buddy.
They surely can.
So
there's plenty of people that can attest to that. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. But we've been busy because I've been doing, I've been working on Days.
Yes.
And I've been doing my coaching business and my nutrition fitness business. We've been trying to rehearse for a holiday show.
Yes.
You've been on General Hospital.
Yes.
So it's been a lot. And we're doing stuff on Patreon.
Right.
And we're doing our podcast.
Right. And we are multi-committed. And now we can be committed. But like,
yes.
So anyway, so for people that follow us, our schedule, because we do kind of a regular schedule, especially on our Patreon page. And if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, first of all, welcome. We have 240 other episodes that you can listen to in our library.
Yeah, check them out. Yeah.
And actually, while we're here, if this is your first time listening to our podcast, we would love if you would subscribe wherever you listen, whether it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever it is. And also, if you like what you hear, leave us a review so other like-minded people can find this fine show.
And even if it's not your first time, you can still subscribe.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this for about 5 years now, and I think we're going to continue doing it. So it would be nice to have all people that would be interested in listening to do just that. So
yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. To go back, and the exciting thing about it is the character was never a character. It was a 3-month arc,
right,
in the 80s, where it was a high school idiot trying to cause trouble in high school. So there is some history there. There is some connection there. I don't know what the full history is going to be, but I know, he's in the Navy and he had a career
in the Navy. You can be a better man in the Navy. Yes.
Oh, wrong song. So
that's going to be your new entrance song for our live show.
Totally. It is. It should be right now. But it'll be fun to just create a new character, man. Have a new start at something.
That
fresh start. It's fun.
Well, that's the thing about. Well, okay. One thing that I just came into my head, and then I want to go off on something else, or not, and continue on that thought. Is, do you know which writer created your character back in the? However,
I don't know
because, and I don't know if this is true or not.
Yes, I know what you're going to say, and I don't know this for sure either. But is this speculation? I thought.
Yeah, because the rumor is, and I don't know if it's true. If a head writer creates a character, that's their intellectual property, and they get what actors would maybe consider residuals for having that character.
Yeah, is this true? I need to know the truth.
Don't know, but man, that writer if they are still with us, because I mean that was what 70 years ago. Um,
Not quite.
Might start getting checks in the mail that they weren't expecting, and then be like, I knew that Harris. I knew I had something gold in that Harris character.
Listen, especially with the name Harris, it had to be somebody who grew up with someone named Harris.
Oh, speaking of teenage dirtbags, there's that social media thing going, I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby. Harris was a teenage dirtbag.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know that, but okay, cool.
I'm going to make you.
Is that on TikTok now? I know you're a big TikTok star. So
I'm a huge influencer now.
So is that what's on TikTok?
But no, it was a lot of Instagram reels too. A lot of public figures, a lot of actors who, like Kevin Bacon did one or something where you go back and because you have those people have footage of themselves during that time.
Sure.
Right.
Well, that would fit for me then. Correct.
That's what I'm saying. So
thank you.
You should make hey, I'm going back to Days reel with the I'm just a teenage dirtbag thing and have some footage from you as Harris from 1987 or whatever.
Perfect. That's great.
I'm
sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
That reel will blow up, or I can make it and put it on my profile and tag you. How's that?
Yeah, sure. Perfect.
Okay.
You're so dumb.
But anyway,
I'm excited for the next journey. So
here's hoping that writer is still with us and is getting some checks now. But that is interesting. You talk about Newness and granted, you were on that set doing Beyond Salem 2 back in the spring, but that is exciting. And ultimately, in our career as actors, usually it's quite commonplace to have that newness all the time, and that's one of the things that I think is fun and exciting because it's new people, it's new challenges, it's new scenery. Like the life of an actor is very, very, very much filled with newness. But gosh, in daytime sometimes newness is rare.
It is, and there's 2 points there, right? Like and people who have heard us on the podcast or Patreon or follow us, whatever, know that I have not auditioned for literally have not auditioned for one thing in a year.
Yeah.
Okay. I was sent a lot of things, offered a few, just didn't, I just didn't want to, right?
Sure.
But to like the first time I left General Hospital, I had a little bit of time off and then I went to Y&R, and it was exciting because again, I knew a lot of the people. It was the same kind of scenario that they created this character for me. It was new. It was something fresh where I could find, I don't want to say reignite the passion or whatever, but sometimes when things are new and you have a new approach on a character and a new project, you're like, okay, cool. This is going to be awesome. Right. Like, for example, if someone's doing a Broadway play, you probably have more, authority on this than I do, because people who've done Broadway plays. If they do it for 5 years, I'm sure they're excited maybe to do another one after that that's different. Right.
The only people that have done shows for 5 years are like people like in Phantom of the Opera or some in Les Mis or some in Cats. But like that is not, or Lion King. Like 5 years on a Broadway show is incredibly rare. No, but one of the things we talk about a lot when it comes to one of the joys of being on a soap is the relationships that you build with the other actors and the other characters. And some of the homework that you have to do when you audition for something is to make choices about those relationships or like fill in information that isn't provided. For us, when we do homework for our work day the next day, chances are all those questions have been answered. All that information is fleshed out. If I have a scene with Kirsten, I know exactly how I feel about Maxie. I know how I feel about Kirsten. I know what, there's a familiarity that exists because that information is there and present. The relationship is filled out. But that takes work, and that work
does take work. Is
fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't. And so like when I work with a new character on GH, or like, for instance, I had scenes with Roger the other day as Austin, right? Like, and he and I don't have a lot of scenes together, and he and I don't have a really fleshed out relationship, but we're starting to have a very clear point of view about each other, and that's fun. But when you go into a new set, whether it was Y&R back then or now what's going on now, like you have the opportunity to build that stuff, and that's really fun.
Yeah, that is fun. And the cool thing is I really don't know, what the story's going to be or who I'm working with consistently yet, but Brandon's there.
Right.
It'd be amazing to do some scenes with Brandon. Like it'd be so fun because we would already have it, like you're talking about, we'd already have a familiarity about each other and we have a really great relationship. So that would be interesting. But yeah, you're right, dude. It's like, you really have to do some homework. Not only do you have to do homework by memorizing and figuring things out, but again, things are already shot out of order. Like, and if you don't have the, when we're at a show for 20 years, we've lived it. There's not a lot of questions that you need answered to make a decision. But now I need questions. I got to ask questions all the time. Like what's going, like, I don't even know who I am yet.
Right. Well, and also you don't know, like, how much does Harris know about the other characters versus how much does Steve know about the characters?
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's the same. If he's a newcomer meeting new people, then you don't have to know anything about the other characters, and you can, there's no information you need in terms of like, well, how does he feel about them, because he's learning, he's meeting them, right? So like that's.
Yeah, it's interesting, man.
Well, because it's different than a recast, right? Like that's the thing about a recast, which is so hard, is that you come in playing a character that already has relationships with everybody, but you as the actor don't know what those relationships are really.
Correct. Yeah,
and so recasts are difficult. To play familiar with other actors that you've never worked before, stepping in for an actor or an actress that has, that's why that job is incredibly hard. Yeah, man. So now, like, it's so funny that you've been working for a couple weeks and people are going to have to wait till what, April?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, they could always, I don't know. I don't know the exact date, but it's going to be the beginning of next year sometime.
Yeah. I've always been mystified by that because GH, we're 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead.
Yeah. And that's still a good, but Days has always been ahead. Like I think they're less ahead now than they have been in the past. I think they've been close to 6 months, or I don't know.
Well, I think that's what it seems like. That's what they are now.
Pretty close, yeah.
5 or 6 months.
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy couple weeks for sure.
Have you identified restaurants, coffee shops around the Days lot? Because I think I've been two. There's two. Well, because the Days lot is because Bold and the Beautiful and Wine Art shoot at Television City. If you've been to LA, it's where The Price is Right is filmed. It's right in the middle of like West Hollywood, where the Grove is.
Yeah, the Grove was right. Literally, the Grove was 25 yards outside the back gate.
Outside the back security gate. There's a little turnstile, and all of a sudden you're at the Grove.
And you're in the Grove. You're like in the Grove. It's amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. Days shoots in Burbank, and Burbank is a fine town. But I've been on the Days lot. I think I auditioned at the Days lot for Lucifer. That show used to be there, and the casting office used to be there. I remember walking through the halls of Days and seeing all the pictures and being like, "Oh, really? This is Days."
And the Tonight Show was filmed there for years. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what have you identified around the lot?
Well, there's a Whole Foods.
Sweet. Walkable or just on the way in?
Walkable. So
that one and the one that kind of comes at the fork there, that's up high.
Yeah. Yes, correct. That's exactly right. Yeah. So there's two. There's a coffee shop right across the street that's walkable. I think it's called the Commissary. And it's not really a commissary, but it's called the Commissary.
Oh, Coffee Commissary, dude. That's very good coffee, by the by.
It's amazing coffee. And they got great, like, everything there. And then Whole Foods is right there. I don't need anything else. Like, that's it.
That's true. That kind of really suits you really well.
When we rehearsed our holiday show last week, that's the Whole Foods. I just stopped there, got our stuff, and picked you up at the airport in Burbank. It was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. So, and, sometimes we get lunch there.
Oh, you and I?
No. Like I think it was when you're blocking at lunch, they buy you lunch.
Okay, you're gonna have to say that again and slower.
when you're blocking at lunch, when you have to go on stage and block during your sacred lunch hour. That means everything, because we're always so busy. We're never waiting around that we need that hour at lunch just to decompress.
Sure.
And if you have to block, they might order you some food.
From where?
The last place, just local restaurants.
You get okay, but because they don't have an on-set lot, they don't have an on-set commissary.
No, I think it closed.
Or food service. Okay,
it closed during COVID, so
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool if it was open again.
I know,
right? Like that. Well, is it over? Did it open at GH? Oh, it's back open.
So during
maybe it is open, and I don't know yet.
Okay, cool.
I might be speaking out of turn on the Days lot, so I don't know.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here to hear from our beautiful sponsors, and then we'll keep talking about set food when we come back. Yeah, so the ABC lot, the commissary on the GH lot was closed during COVID, and we had box lunches because they didn't want people going off.
Correct. That's right. We did get
at the beginning of COVID, like when everyone was trying to just keep everything in a controlled environment, they didn't want us leaving set to go to a restaurant to get food or whatever. So they basically gave us box lunches to take down to our dressing rooms and eat in our dressing rooms, because there's nowhere else on set that you can be unmasked besides in your own private room. And so, and actually that's still the case. We are still masked everywhere except when we're filming and when we're in our own rooms by ourselves.
Correct.
But so box lunches have stopped because the commissary reopened.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I missed those people. Like I honestly haven't been in, so I'm not sure if it's the same workers that were there, but after 2.5 years, I would guess that there may not be, they may not be, correct, but having a commissary on your lot is a big deal. Just because like it's beautiful at GH. Like our lot is small. It's us, Grey's Anatomy, some Shondaland offices, and like it's a beautiful lot. And you can just walk by, like I love walking to the commissary, at the GH lot. So what else is on the Days lot right now?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't walk around much. I just kind of go in there and go to my room and just go up on stage and do my stuff, and that's really it.
Yeah,
we can kind of hang out. Like their dressing rooms are in a basement, right? There's some on the stage floor, but then there's a basement with it's an old studio, dude. It's like, so all the dressing rooms are kind of downstairs, which is cool because we all get to kind of hang out downstairs.
That is awesome.
So
have they always been there? Have they moved around at all?
Well, I think they were, yes. When I was on the show, they were at Sunset Gower.
Oh.
And then they moved a little bit after that to Burbank.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what year that was because GH was at Sunset Gower at some point also.
That would have been fun, to be on the same lot together.
Yeah, that'd have been super cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, does B&B and Y&R people hang out all the time?
Yeah, I mean, their dressing rooms there are kind of intertwined a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So we're always, I mean, that was a fun lot, dude. Like that was
sure.
That's what I was saying. You'd walk out of your dressing room sometimes and you might get hit from a boat from the Price is Right.
Right.
So you had Price is Right there. You had B&B, you had Y&R. So it was all kind of all together,
right.
Just in this big main breezeway where they had all the sets for Price is Right and for B&B. And like, it was just, you felt like you were in a Hollywood lot, like the stuff you would see in the movies, right? You're like, hey, I feel like I'm in Hollywood.
Well, yeah. Like when you're like those old, the old things when you're walking through the parking lot and you get hit by, someone pushing like an Egyptian pyramid.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Or
Dancing with the Stars was there on that lot also.
Oh, that's right.
And who's the other nighttime guy? He's funny. He does
Corden was there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Or is there? I think he's leaving.
There. Yeah.
But because he would do his carpool karaoke right out in front of it.
Right there. It's funny all the time.
If you ever see carpool karaoke, that is the gate for Dancing with the Stars. And also is that the gate you would go on for Y&R too?
Yeah, there's 2 gates, but yes, you can go either gate, but yes.
Right, because it's the
there's a gate
Street?
on Fairfax, no, in Beverly. There's one on Fairfax and one on Beverly. Yeah, yeah. So.
But yeah, it's funny every time they do, or they would also do crosswalk musicals.
Yes, I saw that often while I would walk to the store during lunch.
I guess that's more what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah, right there. That's the gate. That's the gate.
That's the gate. That is where they So if you watch Dancing with the Stars, that's that. So because I went there to watch. I guess it was Kelly when she came back. She did season 1, and then she did season. There was a reprise of, and
All-Stars or something.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do they still shoot it there? Because now, Dancing with the Stars is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what's interesting is what are we going to call our shows now on the road? Is it Stone Cold and the Jackal anymore, or is it
Harris Jackal Tweed Jackal? Harris Jackal Tweed?
I think it's called Harry Jackal.
Harry Jackal. There you go. Well, like our podcast is That's Awesome with Stephen Bradford.
Yep.
Our holiday show is. Do we have a name?
No, what's the Stone Cold and Jackal holiday show?
We did call it that, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Stone Cold and Jackal holiday
show.
It
could still be Stephen Bradford next year because I want to do that holiday show again next year.
Well, yeah. So. And we speaking of late night shows, we actually did our version of it would be earlier this year as a streaming show for Patreon, and that might be something to try.
Interesting.
That might be something to try. Streaming wise, we could do that. We could probably do that for general audiences.
Sure. Yeah.
And we just called it Tonight with Stephen Bradford, kind of like the Tonight Show, but it was Tonight with Stephen Bradford. I mean,
that's original.
We could probably workshop that idea. Let's workshop
Maybe.
that one.
Well, they didn't workshop it much. They go tonight with so and late night with so and so, late night with so. Should we add 3 lates? Latest. I don't know.
Right. The latest show. The latest late show.
The latest late show. So yeah, man, it's gonna be. And the cool thing is, I don't have to cover my tattoos.
Well, that was my next question. Why is that? Are you just because you're going to be wearing a Navy uniform all the time?
No, I'm not in the Navy.
What is your rank
at this point?
What is your rank?
Commander. Whatever that is. I don't know. Yeah, see that? You like that, didn't you, girl?
Commando. Does that mean you go commando all the time?
Well, we'll see.
We are on Peacock. Anything can happen. Can't wait for everybody to see your butt.
That could happen.
Oh man. Put that on your Instagram reel.
That's amazing.
You'll get thrown off Instagram for because all
your old 52-year-old butt. No thanks.
Well, I think Caruso on NYPD Blue was about that age. Well, Dennis Franz for sure. Well, it's interesting. We had
Rob Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him about what boundaries Peacock.
And I think that's already happened for him, by the way.
Well, I saw the
did you?
Well, I didn't see it, but I saw the write-ups and the articles.
You did? Okay. I don't know.
The menage a trois, if you will. So yeah, they are pushing boundaries already. So I can't wait to hear. Well, the thing that's going to be
just calm down, bro.
So here's the interesting thing: thinking about how you being there regularly will affect what we talk about. Like,
sure,
there's not much that you can talk about because it doesn't come out for so long.
Well, that's true.
So, and I would ask you to kind of be up on what's happening on Days, but I feel like that's unlikely.
Dude, I'm not watching any show, bro. I didn't watch GH, Y&R, and I'm not going to start watching.
No, I know. So I don't know. Like, I mean,
I did watch some of Beyond Salem, but
right,
but maybe, I usually historically never really watch things I do.
Right, and I don't think that's unusual. No. I don't really watch. I watched GH at the very beginning when I was on, just to kind of get a sense for things, and then I think on my DVR do people still have DVRs?
I'm sure somebody does.
What just happened to you?
I'm sure somebody has them somewhere. I'm sure somebody does, yeah.
But on my TiVo or whatever it was, I recorded it, but then I just deleted it because it was taking up too much space.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, maybe
we'll see, man.
Well, because now that we have kind of a line on Days and GH, it would be useful to kind of be up to date with what's going on in those shows. Maybe we can even run a countdown clock on our website for Harris's entrance here. But I don't know whether that's we
only 195 days away.
I'm not sure if we if we put a call into Fairman every now and then just to kind of get the scoop, or somebody like that.
Yeah, Michael would
just kind of telling us what the heck is going on.
He could probably tell me a lot.
Well, I mean, I know he's got a real line on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, he knows the history, so I should probably call him if I have any questions.
Yeah, so maybe we'll connect with him, and we can have him really lay out.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah. But speaking of newness, yes. Today is Wednesday, November 9th. This will come out either later today or tomorrow morning, Thursday the 10th.
Sweet.
We are doing our aforementioned holiday show in 7 cities starting on Sunday. So this Sunday we'll be in Philadelphia at
I don't know how this is going to happen, but okay.
The Philly Punchline. Monday we'll be in New Jersey at Stress Factory in New Brunswick.
Yep.
Tuesday we'll be at Governor's in Levittown, Long Island. Wednesday we'll be in West Nyack at the West Nyack Levity Live. Thursday we'll be in Albany at the Funny Bone. Friday we'll be in Newtown, Connecticut at Edmond Town Hall, and Saturday we'll be at Laugh Boston in Boston. We're doing a holiday show. We have a bunch of songs, some of them parody songs, some of them just holiday songs to sing with you or to be sung for you. A lot of bits, a lot of funny stuff. We'll be creating things together. We'll be laughing
in the moment
a lot. So
it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
it's gonna be a great way to bring in the season. Even if you're a Grinch, if you are, you'll still have a good time because we will be having a great time. So
amazing time.
We can't wait to come out and see everybody, and we get things to celebrate, not just the holidays, but newness.
We do. It's awesome. I'm so stoked, man. I'm looking forward to this next year. It's gonna be a lot of fun to just create. You and I being on Days. Looking forward to working with the team there. So. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. NBC. No, does Peacock have a jingle?
I don't know.
It
might be like I don't know if that's it.
Maybe you can see if you can be the Peacock mascot and just
no.
Like Steve said, just comes out like
just wear the Peacock mascot and just go to malls and games and stuff.
Oh my God.
Have I told you how stupid you are lately? Oh man.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was a good time. Hey man, I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, brother.
And I can't wait to see you this Saturday night. And we'll be seeing the people on Sunday, but we're meeting together on Sunday and on the East Coast.
Yes,
so
sir.
We'll go over our packing list, but we'll do that off recording.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
We don't want to bore you guys any more than we have already. So stonecoldandthejackal.com for everything that's related to us. More podcast episodes, touring dates, links to those tickets that we just mentioned for those cities. You can find everything there, stonecoldandthejackal.com. Thanks for listening. And we do this every week. We have a podcast every week. So we'll talk to you next week.
You guys are awesome.